Hello and welcome to this edition of Chalk Talk, a show that highlights all the great events going on in St. Tammany Parish Public Schools. I'm Melody Swang. We have a great show for you today. Let's begin with special congratulations to the school district's recent Community Connection Award recipients. Dr. John Crane, president of Southeastern Louisiana University, was honored in January for his role as a successful educational leader. Dr. John L. Crane is president of Southeastern Louisiana University. His 23-year tenure there includes provost, vice president for academic affairs, head of the Department of Accounting, chair of the Council of Department Heads, president of the Faculty Senate, director of the Small Business Development Center, and 13 years as a full-time faculty member. Dr. Crane's scholarly accomplishments include publication of more than 50 refereed journal articles and presentations at conferences. He was the 1992 recipient of Southeastern's highest faculty award, the President's Award for Excellence in Research.
Excellent education is one of the most critical factors in quality of life for all of our citizens.
Dr. Crane currently serves on the boards of the Lake Pontchartrain Basin Maritime Museum, the North Shore Business Council, GNO Inc., and the Committee of 100 for Economic Development. Dr. Crane is a devoted educator, scholar, community member, friend, and university partner with St. Tammany Parish Public Schools.
We have a great partnership with St. Tammany Parish School System, and as long as I've been at the university, it's been one of the most important relationships that the university has.
4 members of the North Shore Business Council were on hand to accept the February Community Connections Award for the North Shore Business Council. Watch now as we share with you what makes North Shore Business Council so deserving of this award.
For a variety of reasons, education is of paramount interest to our organization. Whether we're trying to assist the parish in recruiting new businesses to come and relocate St. Tammany Parish, some of the first questions that's asked is, tell us about your school system.
We stay very involved with the school board, and we stay very involved with economic development. And education is probably the #1 tool of economic development.
The North Shore Business Council knows the value of the education, the public education system in this community, and the critical relationship and the balance between the business community supporting it and ultimately the product that our public schools is producing for the business community over here. So it really is a balance, and so when we really started looking at it, the outcome of that has been a very healthy relationship.
We're blessed to be able to proudly point out the achievements of the school system in St. Tammany Parish, whether you're comparing that to other systems in the state, or more importantly, comparing it to systems outside of the state where competitive marketplaces are looking for these same business entrepreneurs to relocate.
Trey and the administration, the board members, more than happy to visit with the people that are thinking about coming down and put their mind at ease that they're coming to a community that is striving to do the very best that they possibly can.
It's very important to have an educated workforce and to fill those jobs so that we don't have to bring in people from out of state, that we can nurture within and not only fill those positions with locals, but keep them here.
And Superintendent Foles has been incredibly supportive of the business community, and I think wise in many ways in coming to us for help, for advice, but support on issues that affect both the school system and the community as a whole.
Look what the school system has done for this parish. People move here for the school system, and it's created a great family atmosphere.
On behalf of the organization, the Business Council, let me express our appreciation for this lovely recognition. As we noted in the video, our relationship, a collaborative relationship with the school leadership, both the administration and the board, is critically important to our agenda. And we hope that over the years that dialogue can increase so that we can be more effective. The more we learn about how you operate, the better we feel our counsel and advice can be helpful to the overall goal.
We'd also like to acknowledge 2 administrators recognized for their leadership in the school district. Dr. Mary Bernacki, 6th Ward Elementary Principal, was recognized at the January Principals meeting, where Riverside Elementary Principal Mary Lou Jordan presented her with the award.
She's kept that humble educator part of her, that she is a teacher first and an administrator second. And that's something that all of us hope that we will continue with our career.
After about 8 years at Slidell High and 5 years in the curriculum office, I finally got where I wanted at 6th Ward. So that's been very, very satisfying and ennobling, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate this, because this is my home.
Melanie Edwards, principal at Magnolia Trace Elementary, was honored with the Leadership Recognition Award at the February Principals meeting. Retired educator Marion Aerosmith presented her with the award.
One thing is sure, that life is never dull when you're around Melanie. Congratulations, Melanie, for 27 years as a principal in St. Tammany. Its honor is well deserved.
There is so much expertise in this room. All of you have strengths. All of you have areas where you could share information with other people. Please do that. Rely on each other. Be there for each other. Collaborate with each other. It's one of the best things you can do.
Both administrators were honored for their dedication and service to the students in St. Tammany Parish Public Schools. We'd also like to congratulate 3 educators who received awards at this year's LeCue Conference. LeCue, which stands for Louisiana Association for Computer Using Educators, gave awards to Dr. Pat Edmiston, Covington High teacher, Instructional Technology Coordinator Inky Landry, and Dr. April Owens, principal at Bonnie E. Cole Elementary School. Assistant Superintendent Cheryl Araby honored these award winners at a recent school board meeting.
And I especially want to thank you for your contributions, because at the end of the day, it's our students who are the winners because of the work that you do each and every day. So thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations to these 3 educators who appreciate, support, and integrate technology use in the schools. And now we offer a thank you and a farewell to Tony Esposito, former Carolyn Park principal who retired recently.
So I'm going to miss you guys.
Carolyn Park principal Tony Esposito began his career the same way he finished it, caring for his students with an exceptional compassion stemming from his background in psychology.
I started my career back in 1982 working at Special School District No. 1 in New Orleans Adolescent Hospital, which was a psychiatric facility uptown New Orleans. I stayed there till about 17 years, and then I moved to Hammond Developmental Center, and then I moved to Belchase State School.
His next move to St. Tammany would provide Esposito with the biggest opportunity of his career.
Then all of a sudden the doors opened up, and it was a fast track to a principal position, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me and my family.
And the Carolyn Park students and community embraced their new principal.
When I came on 7.5 years ago, they really prided themselves on this was a family, and you wanted to be part of this family. And I think that's probably the biggest thing, the closeness of the teachers here. They really work together well, and they really care about the children. And that's important to me.
It's amazing, even when we had 600 kids, he knew each and every one of them by name. He knew what they were into, what their hobbies were. I don't know how he does it, because I just call everybody Sweetie and Honey, you know.
And then my office staff, I've got, in my mind, the best office staff around. I mean, I'm going to really miss them because they had my back on everything and anything.
What will be a lasting legacy for Esposito is the Thanksgiving dinner program, Feast for Friends, that he began as a way to give back to a community that had given so much to him.
The fact that so many of the faculty step in and help out and are here volunteering their time for the community says a lot about the type of person that he is, not only, but the type of people he looks for to hire for our school.
Just knowing that I started something because I felt there was a need and I cared enough about the community to have something like this for them, and that even when I leave, it'll be continued on. So that's what it's all about.
Although he may be moving on, Carolyn Park and Tony Esposito will always enjoy a special bond. Rhett Sharp, Channel 13.
Once again, congratulations and best wishes for a fulfilling and happy retirement. Let's now head over to the Prep Zone, where Tiger Edwards has a special Prep Zone Minute for us. Tiger?
Thank you, Melody. In this Prep Zone Minute, we're going to expand our minute to bring you the life story of the late coach Edward J. Kelly, former head swim coach at North Shore High School, and man we first introduced you to in our documentary, Coaching Good to Great, the St. Tammany Way, where he joined 3 other state championship coaches in identifying some of the main characteristics inherent in bringing a team from good to great. Later, we highlighted Coach Kelly after his North Shore girls swim team completed a 3-year run of state championships. It was during the production of this video that we had the opportunity to sit down for an interview with Kelly. During the interview, what unraveled was a compelling story about a self-made man who touched the lives of hundreds of children and student athletes in our school system. We share now with you the life and legacy of Coach Edward J. Kelly.
On the very first day, a small group met along the pool deck. A man came out and introduced himself as Coach Kelly. That day, he spoke of his dream of building a team. He made it quite clear that he had not failed at anything he started, and that this team would be no different. He also stated that he was only interested in those who were willing to give their all and commit 100%.
Coach Ed Kelly, the head coach of the North Shore High swim team and the Hurricane Swim Club in Slidell, began his life in a place and in a way many of us could not imagine.
I was raised in an orphanage. I was in the orphanage from when I was 6 months old till I got a scholarship to college. I had no parents, so I had to rely on myself.
From Boys Town, New York, to Western Maryland College, to the United States Army, Lieutenant Colonel Edward Kelly built an accomplished military career around tours of duty in the Korean and Vietnam Wars. But during a stint at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, his children thrust him into the role of swim coach, a move that would change his life forever.
So needless to say, I did a lot of phone calling, a lot of reading, a lot of watching, and I've been doing it ever since.
Kelly would take that thirst for swimming knowledge and love of the sport to his next station in the Dominican Republic, where he would start his own swim club. An eventual return to the United States found Kelly in New Orleans, where he would retire with an impeccable service record. Dick Bauer, a well-known swim coach in New Orleans, directed a group of Slidell parents to Ed to help lead their swim program. It was then that this self-made man embarked on his second career.
But I knew that if we were going to be successful, I couldn't do it on my own because I didn't have the income to do it. So we formed a parent board, and that's how we got started, and it worked out fine.
Fine would be an understatement, as the Hurricanes made waves immediately, becoming the premier swim team in this area. That notoriety caught the eye of local high schools as they reached out to Coach Kelly, asking him to start competitive swimming at their level.
I originally started with Pope John Paul and Pearl River, and then Slidell started up on its own, and then North Shore wanted to start. So I said, sure, I'll help you. All right, let's get those dolphin kicks off the wall.
While success came early for some individual swimmers at the state meet, cracking the top echelon of teams was a monumental task for the Panthers. With private schools dominating the championships through most of the 90s and early 2000s, a runner-up finish by the girls' team in 2007 was a foreshadowing of things to come.
The next year, we just went at it. You know, it was just simply saying, okay, if you want to win it, then you got to prove it in the water at practice. Turn them over! The more they see they are having success, the more hungrier they got.
With that appetite for winning, the North Shore girls won an impressive 3 straight state championships in 2008, 2009, and 2010, and then followed that up with runner-up finishes in 2011 and 2012. All this giving rise to the proclamation of a swimming dynasty at North Shore.
Coach Kelly, you know, he built the dynasty here at North Shore. He 3 state championships, 3 runners-up.
Kelly, come on, come on.
He motivated kids. He drove them to be excellent. He came around this campus. All the coaches flocked to him, and they all wanted inspiration because they knew how he had done it. He had so much experience. It was like being at a coaching clinic with Coach Kelly here on campus.
And the 200 IMs are with the 2-arm fly.
It was here that Coach Kelly watched over his swimmers, urging them to be the best that they could be, teaching them life lessons. Although it's silent now, his lessons will continue to resonate for years to come.
Those life lessons that he taught us were unbelievable, and they're all those lessons that we'll never ever forget.
I think it's one of the most important characteristics that an individual has. He's got to be able to look at himself in the mirror and say, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is how I'm going to get it, and what price are you going to pay to get that?
Setting goals that you could measure, that you could achieve, that were realistic. How to work towards those goals.
It can require effort and effort and effort. And it can't be screwing around in practice. It can't be missing practices. You're either going to be dedicated to what you're doing, or you're going to reap the benefits of losing. You people here, look so, what are you standing here for?
Discipline. That's the biggest thing he pushes, is discipline, because without it, we wouldn't be as successful.
If you were taking a break from a lap, he knew it. He knew it immediately, and you weren't going to get away with a thing.
I think he just wants us to be, like our motto is, be the best you can be. And I think he just wants the best out of every swimmer, just to push to your 110% and to never give up.
Be the best person that you could be, whether it was in school, athletics, just in your everyday life.
When you look at persistence, you're going to have to be able to accept the good with the bad. And it's just like I said, sometimes you have to learn how to lose before you win. And persistence is, if you lose, you got to step right back into it and win.
When you ran into that wall, how to fight through it and get over it and kind of work through that adversity.
The most important thing about a hard worker is they got to have the belief in themselves that in the long run, hard work pays off. And it may be not this year, maybe not next year, but in the long run, it pays off.
There's no other way but to work. If you're going to work, you work hard.
If you can help a child get through tough times, not only are they going to be a success, but they'll look down the road and they'll look back and say, geez, look where I am today. Maybe I wouldn't have been here.
In high school, if I was having a rough time in either school, with friends, Coach, I need to break up with this boyfriend, he would take time, he'd get you out of the water and take 7 to 10 minutes. It felt like you had been there a half hour. And he'd talk about boy troubles with us.
He cared about everything that you did as an individual, and the swimming was really secondary.
Father figure, mentor, and coach are 3 adjectives to describe Kelly. But it doesn't stop there. This man reached legendary status in the hearts and minds of his swimmers.
A lot of people talk about the impact that the Pat Summits of the world have on them, Vince Lombardi, Bear Bryant, those kind of coaches. Until you've been with somebody like that, you probably don't understand. And I feel that was our Pat Summit, Bear Bryant moment, spending the time that we spent with him.
While Coach Kelly would shrug off suggestions of such an iconic standing, he does give credit for all he's done to the man that was a father figure to him.
My football coach at the orphanage, His name was Jim Falk, and he was like a father to all of us. And he certainly set the example for us. You look back, I didn't have a mom and I didn't have a dad, but I had something to prove. And I wanted to prove to him that what he did for me, I'm bringing back to him.
Edward J. Kelly, devoted husband, devoted father, managed to fit 2 careers of service to others into his lifespan, 1 military and 1 coaching. In doing so, he leaves behind a legacy of hard work, self-discipline, and commitment, the very tenets by which he lived his life every day, a life that was unselfish, noble, and good.
Commitment is not 50%, it's not 75%, it's 100% every day.
Truly a man who made a lasting impression and whose influence will resonate with us and all that met him for years to come. Back to you, Melody.
Thanks, Tiger. The video you just saw, produced by Tiger Edwards and Kevin Mumphrey, is available for viewing and sharing on the Channel 13 YouTube page. North Shore High students in Mr. Brian Rock's class recently took part in a physics experiment with a nautical twist. Rhett Sharp was there to watch it all go down.
It was a rough day at sea when North Shore High School students took to the local swimming pool in an effort to defy the laws of physics by sailing in cardboard boxes.
Yeah, the students have been studying Archimedes' principle, and they were given a project or an assignment to build a boat out of cardboard and duct tape. Well, today we did our testing of their building techniques, and the students, 2 students got in the boat, went across the pool to make sure that the boats could float for 25 yards.
Some weathered the storm better than others.
Don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat. Don't tip the boat over. Rock the boat. Don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat.
And amidst all of the turmoil, the students remained focused on the lesson at hand.
The main thing that we had to apply here was Archimedes' principle, and it's basically like saying you're going to put a hole in water and looking at buoyancy like that. And then we had a few formulas that we ran through to make sure that our surface area on the bottom of the boat was actually big enough to hold enough weight, and we figured our boat could hold about almost 1,000 pounds, and we just crafted it to make sure that we could hold up to everything, and we did well.
An additional part of the project involved coming up with a theme for their seafaring vessels.
I'd never named a boat before, but there was only one I could think of. The most beautiful name in the wide world.
The Jenny was, we just figured, you know, that's one of our favorite movies. Who doesn't love Forrest Gump? And we figured, hey, why not? And we kind of designed our boat around that kind of theme.
Our costumes were killer. My team, the Vikings, we made it across perfectly fine with the fastest speed in our class today.
Safely back on dry ground, the sailors reflected back on their time on the open seas.
I got taught that you can make a boat and survive with almost anything, especially if you have to use cardboard, because cardboard, once it's wet, you sink. But I guess we proved that wrong, where you can go across the pool in water in a cardboard boat.
Cardboard and duct tape. Archimedes would be proud. Rhett Sharp, Channel 13.
The event was a huge success, with close to 85% of the students making the voyage from one side of the pool to the other. Channel 13 also stopped by 6th Ward Elementary during their math and science night. Intern Jake Ricca was there to cover the story.
Math and science are 2 very important subjects in the curriculum here in St. Tammany Parish, and on this cold night in January, 6th Ward Elementary opened its doors and gave a warm welcome to the community to share what their students are learning.
Well, tonight we have our math and science night,
and this gives the parents an opportunity to kind of see what the kids are doing.
The students and their parents move from station to station, getting all age groups involved in learning.
We have stations set up for early childhood, my 4-year-olds, all the way through 5th grade, including enrichment activities. Some of the activities we have tonight include the technology, but also lots of hands-on things, forming hypothesis, all the way to estimation, calculations, lots of hands-on things.
Special guests on this math and science night were members of the Fontainebleau High Robotics Club, getting these young students excited about working with robots.
Kind of generate some interest in our student population about possibly starting a robotics club here next year.
One of the most popular attractions of Math and Science Night is the newly constructed planetarium. Here, students can gaze at the stars and learn more about space.
Tonight, we are actually presenting this planetarium. It's the first night to use it. Parents will go in, teachers will go in. We have 2 videos.
From the moon to Mars, this planetarium is going to help bring the cosmos to 6th Ward Elementary. The construction of the geodesic dome has brought the community together, building a new learning lab that expands the classroom across the universe.
Well, our planetarium is really a community project of a massive scale. Mr. Keys brought it to me and said, man, look at this, and I said, we're going to do it. And we got right on it.
Not only is the planetarium a fun adventure into the unknown, but teachers are able to go online and create lesson plans that tie in well to today's curriculum.
That's what makes it innovative, and it integrates the curriculum. But you can actually take the standards and actually search the Worldwide Telescope, use any resources that would complement the lessons and the standards, and you bring it into media, 3D form, which actually will enhance the curriculum and the lessons.
From science fair presentations to hands-on learning activities, students and their families of 6th Ward Elementary had a great time at Math and Science Night. Jake Ricca, Channel 13.
Thanks, Jake, for that great story. Many of our schools hold such nights for their school community to foster science and math literacy. The Trane Technology Center was the site for the annual PBIS conference. PBIS stands for Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports, a state-mandated program that assists in implementing and sustaining effective school-wide disciplinary practices. Tiger Edwards was there to bring us this story.
Hopefully this will allow us a chance to get back to the stuff that's really important, which is
St. Tammany Public Schools is focusing their PBIS efforts on educating students in acceptable behavior for learning.
What we're trying to do is to teach social competence. Behaviors become a subject, just like math and reading and language arts. We're actually mindfully teaching behavior.
And the consequences of good and bad behaviors.
We talked about reinforcements, and we reinforce positive behavior, and we hold responsible negative behavior. And those 2 elements are very important for an effective PBIS program.
While this program has been around a while, it is important that it is reevaluated yearly. Hence this year's theme, It's Not Easy Being Green.
Keeping any good program alive is really difficult. We're trying to green it up. Some things tend to wither on the vine unless you give it boosters. Today's an example.
Part of greening up has come from the schools themselves.
We've asked our schools what they want, and they want to see more of each other. They want to see how each other's doing it. So what's happening today is we have kind of a showcase, a show and tell, if you will, of our own people presenting what it is that they're doing to keep it green.
Several schools made video presentations, or as they were called, commercial breaks, to highlight the things they are doing at their schools.
I learned to not blow my top, to more like calm down and just...
Attendees were also grouped by grade levels in breakout sessions to review their individual school-wide plans.
The breakouts is we're going through a self-assessment of each PBIS component and asking schools where they figure their weaknesses are, what they need help on, and then they're using their own peers to collaborate and brainstorm and problem solve.
It is through this process and today's event that individual schools will improve. And one teacher is looking forward to sharing all she has learned here with her peers.
I want to bring back a lot of the ideas that they told us about implementing circles and implementing those practices that allow the students to talk things out and be able to have their side of the story heard.
Tiger Edwards, Channel 13.
PBIS is a district-wide system of support that includes proactive strategies to create positive school environments. Let's now check in with our Channel 13 broadcasting interns to see what they've been up to since our last show. Intern Jake Ricca is on the set to share with us their latest projects. Jake, what's going on in the intern classroom?
Thanks, Dr. Swang. We've been busy producing a couple of videos that I'd like to share with you now. The first one is a story produced by first semester interns as their final project for the dual enrollment class. It's about the history and the use of the building we're in right now, the David C. Treen Technology Center. The location of the Treen Technology Center was once the site of Mandeville High School, built in 1917. Over the years, the building has adapted to the changing needs of this learning community, from being a high school in 1917, kindergarten in 1986, and finally, the Treen Technology Center in 2001.
When you've got people coming from Covington, Slidell, Pearl River, Mandeville area, this is kind of a central location. So they come here for professional development. They can have training classes on using the latest software.
Along with being an ideal meeting place for teachers throughout St. Tammany Parish, the Technology Center is also a place where teachers can come for professional development throughout the year.
We have a state-of-the-art training facility here. We have 4 labs, and we have a little professional development center in addition to that. And it's just a way that we know we can bring teachers in, the equipment works, and all of the software is loaded. We don't have to worry about going to a training at another site.
They can have training classes on using the latest software. It might be a class on how to engage students better. Any kind of best practices that teachers might need and utilize in the classroom.
Holly Moore is a literacy specialist for the St. Tammany Parish Public Schools. She comes to the Treen Technology Center for professional training to bring back to her school, Abney Elementary.
You can't have all the teachers come to every single training, so it allows me a place to come and get that information that's valuable for them and then take it back to them and re-deliver it in my professional development.
Without a doubt, our main goal is to have teachers bring back skills to the classroom so they can engage students to be more active learners.
Along with the training that happens at the Treen Technology Center, another part of the building houses the Channel 13 television studio. Channel 13 is a state-of-the-art studio with a staff that produces programming for St. Tammany Parish Public Schools.
One of our goals here at Channel 13 is to tell the educational story and to put our schools and the students and the faculty and the staff in the best light possible.
Everyone on the staff has a lot of stories to tell because they have years of practice and in the field.
Channel 13 allows students to attend a dual enrollment course as well as gain experience at a summer video institute.
We have once again a state-of-the-art internship classroom that has double monitors, avid editing, color-coded keyboards, everything that these young interns need in order to really get introduced into the world of broadcasting.
I come to the Technology Center to learn about things like lighting and camera work and basically how to do TV production, and it's really going to help me in my future job.
The Treen Technology Center is a multi-purpose building set out to help St. Tammany Parish in many different ways, but most importantly, uniting our community together through the power of learning.
It's also important for teachers to be able to share ideas with other teachers across the curriculum, across grade levels, on their grade level, and this facility allows that to happen.
The Treen Technology Center truly embodies the St. Tammany Parish Public School System's motto, learning to last a lifetime.
Next up is a video about Black History Month produced by fellow intern and Lakeshore High student John Hood.
Black History Month allows us to commemorate the contributions African Americans have made to America. Dr. Carter Woodson took the first step to educate all Americans about the importance of Black history.
He was born of slave parents in 1875, and he realized that the best way to get out of poverty was through education.
So in 1926, he decided, let's try to do a week of African American, studying in history. And so that's really what he decided was the best thing to do.
Woodson searched for a time of significance to hold Black History Week.
He started it in February because it fell between Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln's birthdays. And he decided he really wanted to use that to be a catalyst towards really knowing more about people that contributed to great things in this world.
The week grew when President Gerald Ford's proclamation in 1976 dedicated the entire month of February to learn and celebrate Black history. It was during this time that Leonard Abrams recalls his first Black History project.
But that year, my senior year, I'll never forget, we had to do reports on your favorite Black American hero. And I did mine on two people. I chose Dr. Martin Luther King as well as Maya Angelou. And that was the first time that I really, in the school system, you know, began to celebrate, I should say, the contributions that Black Americans have made into our history.
The debut on a national level was important because it made many aware of African American advancements into society, such as the notable George Washington Carver, who invented peanut butter.
Now, we've had a lot of African American people that really came in and said, you know what, let's try this, let's look at it this way, which helped the world evolve. There's things that we still use now. For instance, peanut butter. You know, we knew what the peanut could do, but we never really thought about peanut butter itself as being a cash crop.
History has provided a source of inspiration for many African American youths because it reveals the positive impacts African Americans have had in America.
A lot of our Black young men today want to strive to be a part of society or to make a difference in society because they have people to look back on, like Frederick Douglass, like Thurgood Marshall, Colin Powell. A lot of people who weren't just, you know, like Dr. King, and I know we talk about him a lot, but there's so many other Black Americans who contributed to history.
The significance to me is so that children in this era can see that people had real jobs, they had real ideas, they wanted to make a contribution, and they used knowledge and education to do that.
Black History Month, 38 years after the nationwide introduction, continues to inspire a new generation of Americans.
It has become bigger than people thought it would be, and it's recognized more, and I think it really helps America really come to terms that there are a lot of things that African Americans had their hands in that they would have never known before.
It's something that helps not only Black Americans, but it also helps a lot of white Americans who may not have known some of the contributions and things, positive things that Black Americans have done.
This is all a huge part of our American history.
John Hood, Channel 13.
We're already at work producing more videos, which we'll be sharing with you during the next show. Back to you, Dr. Swang.
Great work by interns Jake and John. We look forward to seeing what you guys come up with in our next show. Let's now head across the hall here at Channel 13 to where Rhett Sharp is standing by to share with us what's trending in the school district. Rhett?
Thanks, Melody. Here's what's trending in and around our school system. Mandeville High School senior Patrick Flanagan has been chosen as only one of 2 students in the state to be a delegate to the United States Senate Youth Program in Washington, D.C. in March. As part of the U.S. Senate Youth Program, he and 103 other students from across the nation will travel to Washington, D.C. to take part in the 52nd annual Washington Week. North Shore High School's cheerleaders left February 7th for the UCA National High School Cheerleading Championship competition held at the ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex at Walt Disney World in Florida. You can catch the results on Sunday, March 23rd on ESPNU. Area Louisiana state legislators were recently invited to visit schools in St. Tammany Parish to learn how the food service programs and school cafeterias play an integral part in the health and education of students. Representative Timothy Burns visited Pontchartrain Elementary and Chafuncta Middle School in Mandeville, and Senator A.G. Crow visited Pearl River High. Miss Araby's kindergarten class just celebrated the 100th day of school. The students had a blast counting and sorting food for the celebration. Classrooms across the parish celebrated being 100 days smarter. Students at Lake Harbor Middle who achieved 150% or more of their accelerated reader reading goals were treated to an afternoon with the Pelicans Junior Training Camp. The students were given the opportunity to participate in basketball-related drills and games, learn about nutrition, and enjoy the Pelicans game day experience at school. And that's what's trending. Back to you in the Channel 13 studio, Mel.
Thanks, Rhett. We'll check back with you during our next show. That wraps up our show for today. And remember, you can watch our show in numerous ways. We're on Charter Channel 13 on the North Shore, AT&T UVerse Channel 99, both North and South Shore, and also live streaming from our webpage. To find our broadcast schedule, just go to stpsb.org and follow the link to Channel 13. From our website, you can also watch our shows on our video on demand page. And don't forget, we're also on YouTube. Just search Channel 13 St. Tammany Schools. And finally, you can keep up with the latest happenings in St. Tammany Parish Public Schools by liking the district's Facebook page and following the school system on Twitter. So thanks for watching this edition of Chalk Talk. We'll return soon with another great show. Take care.